Welcome. Today, we're diving into two major approaches in education: active learning and traditional learning. These methods shape how students interact with knowledge, teachers, and their own learning journey. Understanding the differences between them can help educators and learners make informed choices about their educational experiences. In this video, we'll explore what each method involves, their strengths and weaknesses, and how they impact student outcomes. Let's start by defining what we mean by active learning and traditional learning, setting the stage for a detailed comparison. Active learning is an educational approach where students are actively involved in the learning process. Instead of passively listening to lectures, students engage in activities like discussions, problem solving, group work, and hands on projects. This method encourages learners to think critically, ask questions, and apply concepts in real world scenarios. The teacher acts more as a facilitator, guiding students as they explore and construct their own understanding. Active learning is often praised for making lessons more engaging and memorable. Traditional learning, on the other hand, is what most people picture when they think of a classroom. In this approach, the teacher is the central figure, delivering information through lectures while students listen, take notes, and memorize facts. The focus is on knowledge transmission from teacher to student, often with less interaction or collaboration. Assessments typically involve tests or quizzes that measure how much information students have retained. This method has been the standard for centuries and is still widely used today. Active learning classrooms, you'll notice students working together, moving around, and engaging in lively discussions. The atmosphere is often energetic and collaborative. In contrast, traditional classrooms are usually more structured and quiet, with students seated in rows facing the teacher. The difference in classroom dynamics can influence how comfortable students feel participating and how much they interact with their peers and instructors. Teachers' role shifts dramatically between these two methods. In active learning, teachers act as facilitators or guides, helping students navigate problems and encouraging independent thinking. They provide support, feedback, and resources rather than simply delivering content. In traditional learning, teachers are the primary source of knowledge, controlling the flow of information and directing the pace of the lesson. This difference can affect how students perceive authority and responsibility in the classroom. Active learning is designed to boost student engagement by involving them directly in the learning process. Activities like debates, case studies, and group projects require students to participate, think critically, and collaborate. Traditional learning, while sometimes engaging, often relies on passive listening, which can lead to lower levels of attention and motivation. The level of engagement can significantly impact how well students retain and apply new information. Types of activities students experience differ greatly between these methods. Active learning incorporates hands-on experiments, simulations, peer teaching, and real-world problem solving. These activities are designed to deepen understanding and make learning more meaningful. Traditional learning typically centers on lectures, note-taking, and textbook reading, with occasional individual assignments or worksheets. Each approach offers unique opportunities for students to learn and practice new skills. Assessment in active learning often includes group presentations, portfolios, peer reviews, and reflective journals. These methods evaluate not just what students know, but how they apply and communicate their knowledge. Traditional learning assessments usually involve standardized tests, quizzes, and written exams that focus on memorization and recall. The choice of assessment can influence how students approach their studies and what skills they develop. Active learning places a strong emphasis on developing critical thinking skills. By engaging in analysis, evaluation, and synthesis of information, students learn to approach problems creatively and independently. Traditional learning can also foster critical thinking, but it often takes a backseat to memorization and repetition. Encouraging students to think deeply and question assumptions is a hallmark of active learning environment. Collaboration is at the heart of active learning. Students often work in groups, share ideas, and support each other's learning. This teamwork helps build communication and interpersonal skills, preparing students for real-world situations. In traditional learning, collaboration is less common, with most tasks completed individually. While this can foster independence, it may limit opportunities for students to learn from one another. Active learning is often more motivating for students because it connects lessons to their interests and real-life experiences. When students see the relevance of what they're learning, they're more likely to stay engaged and put in effort. Traditional learning can sometimes feel disconnected from students' lives, making it harder to maintain interest. However, a passionate teacher can still inspire students in any setting. Active learning environments are typically more adaptable and flexible. Teachers can adjust activities based on student needs, interests, or current events. This flexibility allows for a more personalized learning experience. Traditional learning tends to follow a set curriculum and schedule, which can make it harder to respond to individual differences or unexpected challenges. Technology plays a significant role in both active and traditional learning, but it's often used differently. In active learning, technology supports interactive activities, online collaboration, and access to diverse resources. Students might use digital tools for research, simulations, or virtual discussions. In traditional settings, technology is more likely to be used for presentations or as a supplement to lectures, rather than as a central part of the learning process. Active learning provides frequent, immediate feedback through peer reviews, group discussions, and teacher guidance. This helps students identify strengths and areas for improvement in real time. Traditional learning often relies on periodic tests or assignments for feedback, which can delay opportunities for growth. Timely feedback is crucial for helping students adjust their learning strategies and achieve better outcomes. Active learning encourages students to take responsibility for their own learning. They set goals, manage their time, and seek out resources. This sense of ownership can lead to greater independence and self-motivation. In traditional learning, students often rely on the teacher to direct their activities and provide structure, which can limit opportunities for developing self-management skills. Research suggests that active learning can improve long-term knowledge retention. By engaging with material in multiple ways, students are more likely to remember and understand concepts. Traditional learning, with its focus on repetition and memorization, may help with short-term recall but often falls short in promoting deep understanding. The way information is processed can make a big difference in how well it sticks. Active learning often sparks creativity by encouraging students to explore, experiment, and express their ideas in unique ways. Activities like brainstorming, project-based learning, and open-ended questions foster creative thinking. Traditional learning can sometimes limit creativity by emphasizing correct answers and standard procedures, but creative teachers can still find ways to inspire students within this framework. One of the strengths of active learning is its focus on real-world application. Students tackle authentic problems, work on case studies, and connect classroom concepts to everyday life. This approach helps bridge the gap between theory and practice. Traditional learning may cover real-world examples, but often in a more theoretical or abstract way, making it harder for students to see the relevance. Managing an active learning classroom can be more challenging due to the variety of activities and student movement. Teachers need strong organizational skills and the ability to adapt quickly. Traditional classrooms are generally easier to manage because of their structured routines and clear expectations. However, both approaches require effective classroom management to create a positive learning environment. Active learning can be especially beneficial for diverse learners, as it allows for multiple ways to engage with content. Visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners can all find activities that suit their strengths. Traditional learning may not always accommodate different learning styles as effectively, but it can provide consistency and predictability that some students prefer. Parents may notice differences in how their children talk about school depending on the learning method used. Active learning often leads to more excitement and stories about group projects or hands-on activities. Traditional learning might result in discussions about homework, tests, and grades. Both approaches benefit from parental support, but active learning may require more communication between home and school. Cultural background can influence how students respond to different teaching methods. In some cultures, traditional learning is highly valued and seen as a sign of respect for authority. In others, active learning aligns better with values like independence and collaboration. Teachers need to be aware of these differences and adapt their methods to meet the needs of all students. Active learning often requires more resources such as materials for experiments, technology for collaboration, or flexible classroom spaces. Traditional learning can be implemented with fewer resources, relying mainly on textbooks and a chalkboard. Schools need to consider their available resources when choosing which approach to use. Active learning activities can take more time to plan and execute, especially when coordinating group work or projects. Teachers need to balance covering the curriculum with allowing enough time for meaningful engagement. Traditional learning is often more time efficient, covering material quickly through lectures and direct instruction. Each method requires careful time management to be effective. Implementing active learning successfully often requires specialized teacher training. Educators need to learn how to facilitate discussions, manage group dynamics, and design engaging activities. Traditional learning relies more on subject knowledge and presentation skills. Ongoing professional development is important for teachers in both settings to stay effective and responsive to student needs. Assessment methods can impact student anxiety levels. Active learning assessments like presentations or group projects may cause stress for some students but can also provide opportunities to showcase strengths beyond test taking. Traditional exams can be stressful due to their high stakes and focus on right answers. Offering a variety of assessment types can help reduce anxiety and support different learners. Active learning creates many opportunities for peer learning where students teach and learn from each other. This can deepen understanding and build a sense of community. Traditional learning offers fewer chances for peer interaction, but study groups or partner work can still be incorporated. Encouraging peer learning benefits students academically and socially. Active learning helps students develop skills that are valuable in the workplace, such as collaboration, communication, and problem solving. These skills are increasingly important in today's job market. Traditional learning builds foundational knowledge and discipline, which are also essential. Both approaches contribute to career readiness in different ways. While active learning offers many benefits, it also comes with challenges. Managing group dynamics, ensuring equal participation, and keeping activities aligned with learning goals can be difficult. Some students may resist active methods if they're used to traditional instruction. Teachers need to be flexible and creative to overcome these obstacles. Traditional learning can also present challenges. Students may become disengaged if lessons are too lecture-heavy or if they don't see the relevance of the material. It can be harder to address individual learning needs in a one-size-fits-all approach. Teachers must find ways to keep students motivated and adapt lessons when necessary. Many educators now use a blended approach, combining elements of active and traditional learning. This allows teachers to leverage the strengths of both methods, offering structure and flexibility. Blended learning can include lectures, group work, online modules, and hands-on projects, providing a well-rounded educational experience. Every student has unique preferences when it comes to learning. Some thrive in active, interactive environments, while others prefer the predictability and clarity of traditional instruction. Understanding these preferences can help teachers design lessons that meet the needs of all learners and foster a positive classroom atmosphere. Studies show that active learning can lead to higher academic achievement, especially in subjects that require critical thinking and problem solving. Traditional learning remains effective for building foundational knowledge and preparing for standardized tests. The best results often come from combining both approaches to suit the subject and student needs. Active learning can promote inclusivity by giving all students a voice and encouraging participation from diverse backgrounds. Group activities and discussions help break down barriers and build a sense of belonging. Traditional learning can also be inclusive, but it may require extra effort to ensure that all students are engaged and supported. Communication skills are essential for success in school and beyond. Active learning provides frequent opportunities for students to practice speaking, listening, and presenting. Traditional learning may offer fewer chances for communication, but activities like recitations or oral exams can still help students develop these skills. Active learning can help students build confidence by encouraging them to share ideas, take risks, and learn from mistakes. Supportive group environments and positive feedback contribute to a sense of achievement. Traditional learning can also build confidence, especially when students master challenging material or perform well on exams. Active learning allows teachers to identify and address learning gaps quickly through ongoing assessment and feedback. Students can receive targeted support and clarification as needed. Traditional learning may not always catch gaps until a test or exam, making it harder to intervene in time. Early intervention is key to helping all students succeed. Active learning fosters a love of learning by making education engaging and relevant. Students develop skills and attitudes that encourage them to keep learning throughout their lives. Traditional learning can also inspire lifelong learning, especially when teachers share their passion for the subject. Both methods play a role in shaping lifelong learners. Support from parents and the community can enhance both active and traditional learning. Involving families in school activities, sharing progress, and encouraging learning at home all contribute to student success. Community partnerships can provide resources and real-world connections that enrich the educational experience. Around the world, education systems are experimenting with active learning to better prepare students for the demands of the 21st century. However, traditional methods remain important, especially in cultures that value structure and discipline. The global trend is toward a balanced approach that incorporates the best of both worlds. Educational policies and curricula are evolving to include more active learning strategies. Schools are updating standards, investing in teacher training, and redesigning classrooms to support interactive learning. Traditional methods are still valued, but there's a growing emphasis on skills like collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. Future of education is likely to blend active and traditional learning, using technology and innovative teaching methods to meet the needs of diverse learners. Flexibility, adaptability, and a focus on real-world skills will be key. As education continues to evolve, the goal remains the same: to help every student reach their full potential. To sum up, active learning emphasizes engagement, collaboration, and real-world application, while traditional learning focuses on knowledge transmission, structure, and discipline. Both methods have unique strengths and challenges. The most effective classrooms often combine elements of both to create a dynamic and supportive learning environment. Choosing between active and traditional learning depends on many factors, including subject matter, student needs, available resources, and cultural context. Teachers and schools should consider these factors when designing lessons and curricula. Flexibility and a willingness to adapt are essential for meeting the diverse needs of today's learners. Both active and traditional learning have important roles to play in education. By understanding their differences and benefits, educators can create more effective and engaging learning experiences. The ultimate goal is to help students develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes they need to succeed in school and beyond. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of learning methods.